Hey, welcome to the podcast, part two. We just screwed up big time, so we got to start over.
We just say take two instead of part two.
Take two. Sorry, take two. Ciao. I'm JD.
I'm Chad.
Hey, welcome back.
We're doing this again. We're matchy today.
Podcasting under the influence. Yeah, we're twinning.
He's not under the influence. He's got to work.
I don't have to work. I just have to be somewhere. I'm going to a church function. Going to a church function for a friend. What we're going to do now is wrap up our fantasy football. You're going to do the whole scrolling through and looking at stuff, because if I do it, it's going to screw it up.
Don't do that again. Windows.
Yeah.
Makes me sad.
All right. Fantasy football. Well, first off, I want to say congratulations to everyone in the league. It was a fun league this year. I had fun.
Very much fun.
A little frustrating at times, but it's not with the people we played with. It was with my team. I want to throw a shout out to Cole.
Winning the league.
Roll Cole, baby. 10-3.
But he dominated all season long. It was pretty much a given.
Yeah, he was a model of consistency.
He did very well. And then we got Terrence, who we pick on to no end, but he came in second, an honorable second, but he did get crushed in the final game. I mean, obliterated. And my brother-in-law, Harvey, Mr. Cornfed, coming in third, beating me out only because C.J. Anderson didn't have the numbers he was supposed to have.
Yeah, he had pretty much nothing, didn't he?
No, he did all right, but I just needed him to do better than Emmanuel Sanders, and that just didn't happen. Because he had Emmanuel Sanders and their kicker, Barth, and then I had C.J. Anderson, and judging by how Peyton Manning played the week previous, I thought C.J. Anderson was going to go balling, and everyone else was going to be balling at home. Didn't happen that way, but that's all right. That's the way these things pan out. So I came in fourth. JD came in fifth. The wife came in sixth. Casey rocking up seventh place, which he had a pretty good regular season, so, you know, what it happens. Schweitzer in eighth place, right below. And our friends, the Fishers, ended up not owning the basement for the season. They ended up finishing in ninth. And
2 wins on the year, and they stayed out of last place.
They
beat skill.
They beat me. That was it.
And they beat James.
Yeah. Well, then, yeah, of course, James bringing up the basement, who drafted first, drafted a great team, but...
See, I disagree with about the drafting great.
I thought he drafted very well.
Here's my only issue with this draft. He drafted 2 quarterbacks early, which is a...
We talked about this last week in the pros and cons of sucking up roster space to keep someone else off somebody else's team.
Yeah, but how well did that work out for him? That's my point.
It didn't work out this year.
It will never work out.
You never know.
Okay, this is my only point with that. His first 3 picks were Manning, Brady, and Martin. No, Manning, Martin, and Brady. That was the order.
Yeah.
Picked them in. Okay. The only issue I have with that is he got Martin hurt. Now 2 of his 3 first-round picks are rendered useless. You can't play Peyton and Brady at the same time, so you can only play one of them. And he could have got another running back. He could have got a good receiver. He had receiver plagues all season long. That's my only point with that. It's fine that he did that if your guys are healthy, but he wasted 2 of his first 3 picks are rendered useless when he does that. That's my only point.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I can understand where he was going with it. I don't think I would have done it. But then again, if you got Brady in the draft, you get 4 weeks in, you're plagued with wide receiver issues. If you'd have offered me, well, actually, if you would have offered anyone else Tom Brady for Jordy Nelson or Calvin Johnson, they probably would have bid at the chance to have a better quarterback. I wouldn't have. I hate the Patriots.
Well, James never tried to trade him. I don't remember one time it coming up the trade.
No, he did.
The trade approval thing where we have to prove the trade, which we changed that anyway.
Yeah, but Cole, Terrence, and Casey tried to throw some stuff at me, but it wasn't happening. I was offered Marshawn Lynch for Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, I tried. Terrence kept trying to bait me into a trade for Justin Forsett. And I was like, dude, I'll trade you Asiata for nothing. I'll trade you him for dang near nothing. I think I got like a crappy tight end. Like a tight end was going to drop anywhere, or like a bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'll trade you him for nothing because I don't want to. I had 3 good running backs: Ingram, Forte, and Forsett. I was like, I'm not trading those because one can either be my flex.
Yeah.
My receivers aren't very good this year, so one can always be my flex. And when one of them's on a bye, the other 2 can start, and I can always play another receiver. I don't want to get rid of that. That's a big advantage for myself personally.
Yeah.
Having three pretty good running backs. I said, I'll give you my fourth or my fifth for dang near nothing. And I think he took Asiata.
He took Asiata, but Asiata or McKinnon, whichever way you want to go with that, neither of them panned out this year.
Well, Asiata, it depends on who they play. Like when they played the Redskins, Asiata had like 40 points because he had like 4 touchdowns.
Well, you go off one game, it doesn't make you the man.
I'm just saying, it's better than nothing. I mean, who'd he have? I mean, I think he had an injury bug too. So that's my only point with James is if you do that and one of them gets injured, now your first 3 picks are rendered useless.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Okay, does my point at least make sense in that regard?
It makes sense.
In his defense, he was trying to get it to maybe get a bait someone, which he should have tried baiting Casey. Casey had Emmanuel Sanders or EJ Manuel, and who was the other quarterback? RG3?
No, he didn't have RG3.
He didn't have a good quarterback. His backup was not very good.
No, he didn't. I think Schweitzer actually has. Did he? No, he had RG3 all season. I'm pretty sure.
Well, he didn't have. Let's just say he didn't have a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So I thought he was going to try to bait Casey and maybe try to snake one of his good receivers because Casey has some good receivers this year. I think he had Antonio Brown or something. That's the best receiver in my opinion. But Anyway,
kudos to the league, kudos to the friends. It was a good time as usual.
All right, so if you had to pick next year, who would be your keeper?
I'm keeper. I gotta stick with Megatron. I really do. I love the guy. I know his numbers weren't perfect this year, and he's being downgraded pretty much to a decoy for Golden Tate to catch the ball. But
well, he'll be healthy next year.
At the end of the day, I love Megatron.
I would, looking at your roster, I would keep Eddie Lacy. That's who I would keep.
See, that's one of those things because Eddie Lacy came on at the end of last season pretty strong, and he had some really impressive numbers. Mm-hmm. But I think I was still able to get him in like the 3rd or 4th round because people were looking at bigger names, and it's like, well, the Packers, they don't have a running game, they have a throwing game. That's what they do. And
Eddie Lacy's been crucial to their success this year. Yeah.
I'm well aware of that.
And all year, it wasn't just like in the first couple weeks or the last couple weeks. It's been consistent all year for the most part.
He's projected to go 4th or 5th in the first round next
year. Can we? Are you gonna handcuff George Bell and Reggie Bush next year?
No, Reggie Bush is garbage. No, that's my next. There. Thank you for saying that.
Is that a segue into your regret?
Yeah, that's my regret.
Well, I'm gonna go and tell mine. I want Forte again, technically, but he dropped off this year. I don't know whether it's him or the team. I think it's the team.
Quarterback or coach are the team's problems.
Yeah. So I don't think it's him. And I love Forte. He's always been good for me. So if the team looks like they're better in preseason, I will draft him. But if I have to pick right now, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Guy puts up 40 points a game. You can't get that kind of production out of a running back. So
yeah. Other than that one bad game, he was usually above, like right around.
Well above 20. 2 games, Buffalo and then Seattle. Seattle got negative.
That's right.
Seattle got negative. Right, so 2 weeks, but I can take 2 losses a year.
Yeah, I can play Tony Romo for 2 weeks a season.
Yeah.
Well, in your case,
actually, we'll get into that later, but he's supposed to be he's number 3 in the MVP projections right now. Oh yeah. His numbers this year, very good. In the second half, he has the highest QBR in the history of the stat. 91.2 or something like that.
I don't like the Cowboys.
I know you don't like the Cowboys. I don't like it. I'm a Redskin fan. I don't like them either. But I'm just giving him credit where credit is due. He did really good this year. He had 1 bad game, which was against the 49ers to start the season. And since then, he's been pretty darn consistent since then.
Uh-huh.
In fairness, he does have DeMarco Murray and a great offensive line, and Des Bryant, and 2 decent tight ends. I can go on forever. I know all his weapons, but Beasley and who's the other guys?
Well, it took them a while to build a team down there because the general manager was standing in their way. But now it looks like they're finally being able to do that. Stop that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hit that button again.
Okay, my keeper, Rodgers. Okay, who do you regret drafting this year?
Reggie Bush. Absolute complete waste of space. He has maybe 2 decent games. I wouldn't even call them good games. Decent games. To where he was probably 3 points below what he should have been doing every game. He should have been a 20-point running back every game the entire season. And I think I put him in active 1 time, and then the rest of the time I just left him on his bench. Why did I leave him on the bench? In case Joyke Bell, he was a handcuff. It flip-flopped. Like, I got Joyke Bell and Reggie Bush, and of course Joyke was the handcuff for when Reggie went down. it was complete opposite. Joik was putting up constantly good numbers, and Reggie Bush was the one in the back that was the handcuff.
Can I tell you why Reggie Bush cannot stay on a team like the Saints?
Because he's old?
No.
He's got an attitude?
He's not an every down back. He's too small. He doesn't take hits very well. If he's good, if he can just catch it and get like 10 yards and slide or get out of bounds, he's fine. But he's too small to take hits. That's why he's always injured. He has an injury every other week. It's something. It's his hamstring. It's his arm. It's his ankle. Okay, my 2 regrets. I have 2. Zach Stacy was projected to be the 3rd best running back this year. I don't think he's in the league anymore. I think he got cut. He got cut from the Rams. They're relying on Cunningham and whoever the other guy is.
Yeah.
And then Toby Gerhart, which I got Toby Gerhart late, so that's not a huge regret.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of faith in him. I thought he was going to do a lot better. His backup came in, Denard Robinson, who was a quarterback in college, came in and did great for him. He averaged 90 yards a game that he started, so that's great for him. But that's my regrets. I don't really regret anything else. Maybe keeping James Jones all year, and I'm not drafting Julio Jones next year. He has his moments, but he's not elite anymore. His injury really set him back. Yeah. I will get Roddy White before I get him, because at least Julio Jones draws attention. Okay, who is your sleeper in your fantasy this year?
I got 2 guys I picked up toward the end of the season that I absolutely loved, and that was Martavius Bryant and C.J. Anderson. And I picked them up weeks before they blew up and their numbers started going crazy. Because I realized with Antonio Brown getting all that attention, it was only a matter of time before either Marcus Wheaton or Martavius Bryant started getting the ball, because the looks were all going to be somewhere else. So I decided to pick him up. He went balling for me, kept me with consistent numbers when I played him. And then C.J. Anderson, after seeing what happened to Monte Ball and the problems Denver was having, just started going through the roster until I saw somebody I liked better than the next guy up, and that was C.J. Anderson, because no one above him did anything worth mentioning.
I'm going to try to bring up my roster here. My sleeper that I drafted, because I think he wasn't really on everyone else's radar, was Mark Ingram. And to be fair, he did pan out for me pretty well. Yeah, he was injured 4 weeks, but I hung on to him, and he ended up being great.
That did work out.
That worked out fantastic for me. He was a great college running back as well as he was a professional running back. So that worked out really well for me. But my other sleeper, I got to bring this up real quick. I don't have my thing as fast as yours. My other sleeper, Jonas Gray, I picked him up 1 week. I just didn't play him because I don't know what the Patriots are doing.
You can't get any consistency out of what Belichick is doing.
The fact that I got Brandon LaFell off the waiver wire is really awesome. Seattle's, it's not really a sleeper, but I got Seattle's defense off the waiver wire, which I don't know what the Fishers were smoking when they got rid of him, but
yeah.
I wouldn't have got rid of him. Sleeper, I would have to say it's Mark Ingram. Brandon LaFell was pretty nice. Next year, I will be looking at. I got Carlos Hyde on my bench, but I will be looking at him next year. He will be starting next year.
You're the 3rd person to have him this season.
Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
Well, Gore. He'll have like a game where he's great and a game where he sucks. Game where he's great, game where he sucks. He had a great game against San Diego. He had a good 50-some yard rush. He had about 120 yards rushing. He did great.
The name of the game is consistency.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing about fantasy football. So, yeah, that would be my sleeper, was Mark Ingram. And the fact I got those 2 guys off the Justin Forsett kind of, but okay, well that's over with. So if you had the first pick in the draft next year, which I know the answer to this probably, who would you draft first overall next year if you had the choice right now?
First overall next year. In the first round this year, I took Megatron. But I was also at the bottom. If I had the first overall pick, I'm probably going to grab Le'Veon Bell. Dude's been nothing but consistent production all season long.
I will grab, because we're going to...
Durable is crap. Durable is crap.
Oh, yeah. Well, if he doesn't smoke pot for a game, he gets suspended for 3 games. Maybe that helped out. Maybe. If I have the first pick in the draft, I'm going with someone that gets you a lot of rushing yards and receiving yards. Because we are going to a PPR league next year. So I would have to say Jamal Charles, which I would have grabbed him this year, but he was injured. He started the season with an ankle injury.
Didn't James draft him though?
Yeah, he did. But I would have tried to get him. No, it wasn't James.
I thought that's why he called his team Got to Catch.
No, he just calls them that because he likes Pokemon.
Oh.
All of his teams and all of his fantasy leagues are called that.
Okay.
But I forget who had him. I want to say probably Casey had him. I think Casey got him. But that would have been my first pick this year if I had it earlier. But he was injured. He came in the season with a huge ankle injury. And here's a good handcuff for next year. Him and his backup. Man. His backup's really good too. If you want to handcuff anyone next year, that'd be a handcuff to have. I would never do it, but I don't believe in handcuffing running backs. Quarterback and receiver, I get that.
It's a theory.
It
didn't pan out, but it was I had the option.
So that is okay. Well,
but Le'Veon Bell, while you're talking about PPR, he doesn't do too bad in the short field either.
No, he doesn't. I wouldn't say Eddie Lacy does bad in that either.
No,
how many times Eddie Lacy's used as a safety valve for like a good 8 yards and a catch? That's almost 2 points right there. Can't beat that. It's almost 2 points.
Now, I would really love to have my wide receiver running back core stay the same and just add like 2 more parts to it.
All right, let's expand on that for a second. Who would be who's your first quarterback you'd take next year?
Well, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I mean, that's me and you. That's an argument every season is who's going to draft wisely enough to get him, but you took him in the first round, so I had to go with
you have to take him.
I know.
If I had an earlier pick, no, but you had to take him. So, okay, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Best running back. You just said Le'Veon Bell.
I take Le'Veon Bell in a heartbeat.
I take Jamal Charles. That team, if they need the Chiefs, we'll talk about Chiefs for 2 seconds. They need to get some. Do you realize they had this many touchdowns to receivers this year?
Yes, I saw that stat.
Tight ends, I think they had like eight tight end touchdowns, which is pretty good. But most of them came like to Jamal Charles or was it Miles Davis?
Might have been Miles
Davis, something like that. I know one of that name's also like a rapper or something, isn't it?
Miles, it's like Kniles. Yeah, Niles. It's weird.
And those guys, excellent production from the running back. I probably ran Davis as a little bit of a slot receiver, like kind of like Sproles. But my point being, that team gets some wide receivers. They're going to be dangerous. They need to go like trade up and get three or four running back or wide receivers this year. Running back, they're set. Their offensive line's great. They had the best red zone offense in the league this year.
Yeah.
And their tight ends are proven. They got Kelsey and Fasano.
Are you segueing us into NFL talk?
A little bit. But we're going to finish up our top of every position. Okay. But they need to get some receivers. They get some receivers, that team is going to be good. Very good. That's my personal belief on that. Look out, Denver, because we're going to talk about Peyton Manning here in a while. Okay? Top receiver. I know your opinion on that, but you said you might not get him as early.
I love Megatron, but his production is going down. But then again, he was injured this year, and he did very well for me last year. So, I mean, he's up there, but looking at the consistency I got out of the position this year, I didn't have to take Jordy Nelson out but 1 week. And that's because he was on a bye. Other than that, I have not moved Jordy Nelson out of my lineup, and I'd probably take him number one, even though I know Antonio Brown is probably far better.
That's who I would take.
And I know my roster doesn't show it, but I do believe it is unwise to have too many offensive weapons in the same field.
Yeah. I would take Antonio Brown bar none, because if you watch any of our further podcasts, I explain to you why I think he's the best.
Yes.
Because in every category, he is good or great.
Yeah.
There's no gray area.
No mediocre.
I would say Jordy Nelson, what would be his weakness? Sometimes you can jam him, but other than that...
that 1 week was his weakness. 6 draws. That was his weakness. Other than that, the dude, he's putting up points.
Maybe
I'll say this. Jordy Nelson, overall, I say if you put him in this season, you were almost guaranteed every time he was on the field to get 17 points. Guaranteed.
I would say this is his only weakness. Not as his fault, but he's on a team with a bunch of decent receivers.
Well, yeah, Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb.
I wouldn't put Devontae Adams. You know how I feel about Devontae Adams.
I know.
He's not a bad rookie. Don't get me wrong.
He comes and he goes.
See, but I have a personal frustration towards him. I'm gonna leave that as my bias on that. But
that was last week.
Yeah. Well, it's been consistently all season, but I won't get into.
No, but that was your gripe last week.
Yeah. I don't take Antonio Brown. I don't want to regurgitate this too much. Good off the line. You can't jam him too fast. He is an excellent route runner. He gets open better than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
He catches like 10 or 12 balls a game. If you're in a PPR league, that's 12 points just in catches. Then you get his yards, and in his yak yards after catch, no one is better at taking a 5-yard slant and taking it to the house or getting 50 yards out of it.
Nah,
no one's better than
he's consistent.
So, and Jordy Nelson, I would say, is a poor man's Antonio Brown, in my opinion. He's not as fast. He is a great route runner. I'll give Jordy Nelson that. He's an excellent route runner.
Yeah, but you got to look where I picked Jordy
Nelson.
Nelson.
Jump ball. That's where I would say Jordy Nelson's downfall. He's not a jump ball guy.
But look where I picked up Jordy Nelson, 3rd, 4th round.
In our draft this year. Good. I'm just.
And I was at the bottom of the draft.
If I didn't get Antonio Brown and I had Jordy Nelson, I would not pitch one damn pitch. Okay, I'm just saying. Maybe Dez Bryant would be my 3rd because he did great in Mother League. And he played like a beast the last like 4 weeks.
Yeah, he did.
He's been beat. He's probably the main reason that Tony Romo is looking like he's going to be an MVP candidate. He will not, but he's a candidate. I'll say he's a candidate.
I would like to see J.J. Watt. I love Aaron Rodgers, but I would love to see J.J. Watt win the MVP. I think he deserves it.
I think it should be DeMarco Murray. That's just my personal opinion. That guy ran all over the place. All right, tight end. Who would you pick tight end first?
Screw tight ends. I don't even care. Dude, they're so freaking... This year for tight ends...
Gronkowski, that's a given, man.
The only one. That was it.
Maybe...
I can't draft someone who hangs out with Justin Bieber. I really can't.
I'll draft him if he's going to give me 20 points a game at tight end. I'll draft you.
I'll take Jordan Cameron.
No, he's injured way too much.
I'll take him again.
I would rather have Gronkowski.
You can have Gronkowski. I just want nothing to do with
Who would be another tight end I might take?
I'd take Heath Miller.
I think Jimmy Graham's going to have a bounce back year.
I don't think so. I think he's about fizzled out.
Well, the whole team was bad. And here's how great Drew Brees is. He was like 38, 40 touchdowns and like 12 interceptions. Now, that is really good, but that's a down year for him. And he has about 5,000 yards passing still.
Yeah.
That's a down year for one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That's how good Drew Brees is. And he didn't have Jimmy Graham playing well this year.
His bad years are still better than Jay Cutler's good.
Oh, yeah. Who would be
best year
I would take?
What?
I'm trying to think of another tight end. Maybe
Olsen?
Oh, no. Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey.
I would take Kels.
Kelsey put up some nice numbers. Just
maybe Zach Ertz.
He was come and go. It was the same way with Andrew Corliss. Because I had Corliss for like 3 weeks this season and picked him up to see what he was going to do. He does fantastic. Put him in the next week. He does nothing. Sit him back on the bench, put in Cameron. Nobody does anything. It's like I need consistency at tight end this year was impossible other than 2 guys. Maybe 2 guys.
Gronkowski and what? Kels?
Olsen didn't do bad this year.
Olsen wasn't bad. No, I'll tell you no. Gates. The only issue with Gates though is he's old. He's like 38.
Dude, he's like 300 in football years.
Oh, I know, but Gates, other than Gronkowski, he's probably the most consistent tight end.
I'll give you that.
But that was my worst position this year.
That was my hardest thing to deal with.
It was tight ends.
Yeah.
I kept looking and finding a tight. I drafted Jason Witten, who didn't come on till late.
Yeah.
First 3 weeks he did nothing.
But I mean, I had the tight ends I had this season were Miller, Corliss, Cameron. Like, it's just a mess.
Let's see. I had Owen Daniels late. I just didn't play him. Kobe Fleener isn't bad, but once you get that other tight end back, I don't remember his name. The ball it splits between the two.
Yeah,
if you have just Kobe,
but he's running a 2 tight end set better than most people can run a 1
well, they
tight
have
end
to
set.
because they can't run the football, and that's the only way to run the football is run 2 tight end set.
Yeah,
and that screws up your receivers because then you have Reggie Wayne and T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton is not a wide receiver; he's a slot.
Talk about getting screwed out of a draft pick.
T.Y. Hilton?
Oh, Trent Richardson.
Oh well, I had Reggie Wayne, so I feel you. I had Reggie Wayne, so. He did nothing this year.
Well, I was talking about the Colts in general getting screwed out.
Well, how about you know who was a big bust this year? Was it Nix?
Hakeem Nicks?
Yeah, he played for the Colts.
Yeah.
You didn't hear anything from him this year.
There was a couple guys you didn't hear nothing from this year.
Okay, we did tight ends, we did running back.
Josh Gordon would be one of them.
What will be your number 1 defense next year? I know who mine's going to be.
You know what? I would want to see. I want to see and evaluate because as far as a model of consistency, I can't say nothing bad about my Lions. They hung in there, and the backup I had for the Lions was the Eagles.
I can't say nothing bad about either of mine. I had Seattle, which sometimes Seattle can be had. It's just weird.
Well, you picked up Seattle like 3-4 games in the season.
Yeah, because the Fishers dropped them. Arizona was pretty consistent all season, but you know who I think is coming and they're on their way? Buffalo.
Yeah, they shut down Green Bay.
They shut down Manning too. They did really good against Manning. So them and you can't go wrong with any defense pretty much in the NFC West.
No.
I mean,
they're all
even St. Louis, who's not a great team because they don't have a quarterback, shut down and just put a thumping on a bunch of good teams. I mean, we're getting to that later. Peyton Manning hasn't been the same since he played them. He's been a scared little pussycat. So, all right, anything on fantasy? Who will be your kicker next year?
This guy. He thinks we have to fill a certain block of time.
We do.
We don't.
All right, let's jump.
It's funner when we just go. No, kicker, I'm sticking with Adam Vinatieri.
I'll take Gostowski because kicker for the Patriots.
I know because he's Gostowski.
He's Gostowski.
I had him last season.
And you're on the Patriots, and they're gonna at least get you a field goal every other possession, or touchdown or field goal.
My choice between a Polish guy and an Italian guy, I took the Italian guy.
All right, on the football, we'll go in order here. Or just bounce around. You pick one, I'll pick one. We'll talk about.
Well, you just get it started.
Just pick one.
It works better when you just get it started.
My Redskins.
Start running my
I'll talk about my Redskins. They look pretty darn good this week. They played spoiler in the NFC East. They spoiled the Eagles, winning the division. Now, hopefully, they can at least beat the Cowboys next week. But I think the Cowboys are going to rest starters. So that might be why we beat them.
Well, Cowboys are. They have the division.
They're
in the playoffs. They're in the division.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I hope they at least play us. No, and don't just sit all their starters. I want at least
because wouldn't that allow the Eagles to get in then?
No.
No, that's right.
Well, if they win and like a couple people lose, maybe. I think the NFC has pretty much got the playoffs locked up except for the NFC South.
Well, no, what would it have
Arizona,
to be? Like both the Packers and the Lions would have to lose.
No.
Which is impossible.
No, it's NFC West. You have Arizona and the Seattle Seahawks.
We're done with fantasy?
Yeah, we're done with fantasy. That's a lock-in. And then you have Green Bay and Detroit is a lock-in. Cowboys, and then you have NFC South. That's it. Everyone else is a lock.
Patriots are a lock. Bengals are a lock. Pittsburgh's a lock.
Oh, we're talking about the NFC.
Dallas.
See, it's just the one division. Everyone else is locked in.
Yeah, Dallas is a Z. Detroit and Green Bay are X's. Seattle's an X.
Both of those are
Arizona's an X.
Because he's the one who can win the division this week.
X is a clinch playoff spot. Z is clinch division. So
it's just the NFC South.
There's one division wide open. Every other spot is filled.
3 teams can win that, technically. Well, I don't think Carolina should win at all, but that's just me. You're going to tie. You don't deserve to be in a playoff. Tie. It's bullshit. But, yeah, it's just the NFC South. So basically the playoffs are locked in except for the NFC South.
I can't justify the Falcons going to the playoffs with a non-conference record of 0-4.
Yeah, but
I know how the
record is.
I know how the numbers work.
For those of you who don't follow,
6-5.
Those who don't know this, this is how the playoffs. This is how you get your playoffs and how they rank your tiebreakers or whatever. If let's say I'm one team, he's one team, and we're both 10-6. It goes off your record. So if I'm 11-5 and he's 10-6, I get the playoffs.
Yay!
If we're tied, it goes to your head-to-head matchup. And if we're division rivals, we'll play each other once. Let's say I win one, he wins one. Tied again. Then it goes down to your division record. If your division record is, it should be, if it's about the same. If it's the same, then they go to your head-to-head matchup and total points. Whoever has the most total points.
Yes.
Then beyond that, I don't remember where it goes beyond that. I think it's your non-conference record. Beyond that. But as of right now, you have almost a 3-way tie for the NFC South.
Yep.
Almost. Only because one team has a tie instead of a loss.
6-9, 6-9, 6-9.
Yeah.
Well, 6-8-1, 6-9,
so
6-9.
I think if Atlanta wins this week, they have it regardless because they have the best divisional record, and they'll be 6-0 in their division, so they should win it. Which means that they beat Carolina and they beat both New Orleans. If they lose,
well, no, Atlanta's 5-0 in the division, so
yeah, that's what I mean. That means they have a winning. Well, they have a winning record against all of them anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But oh man, that's a shitty. And they're gonna get a home game. God, you know how much that makes me mad.
I am well aware.
Okay, so the Redskins look good. RG3 looked good. 16 of 23, 4 drops by the way. Hit him right in the hands. Apparently there was an interception, but I don't recall seeing it. I have the game actually on my computer. I downloaded it. And I don't recall. Yeah, I found a website you can download games, football and basketball. They're big ass files, but God, they're so nice. They skip out all the commercials, so it's like 45 minutes of straight football. I love it. Oh, dude, it's awesome. I love it. But lost train of thought there for a second. Redskins look good. Running game was good. Throwing game was good. Deshaun Jackson was utilized pretty well. Basically, just did one move and just take off. And RG3 threw it up, and he ran under it and got it a bunch of times.
Fantastic to start playing like that. I don't know, toward the end of the season when it's over.
Well, it wasn't over for the Eagles, so they were at least trying. It's not like we got that win against a crap team who's phoning it in.
Well, no offense again to the Eagles, but I'm pretty sure they were probably sitting back going, dude, it's Andrew Luck. What are the Cowboys possibly going to do against Andrew Luck?
Yeah. We'll get to the Cowboys here in a second. Andy frickin' Dalton.
That prick.
He went off this week.
On a night game. Worldwide stage.
Yeah.
He has the game of his frickin' career. Well, probably not the game of his career.
I was wondering, why did Broncos have 3 Monday night games this year?
Because they have Peyton Manning.
So?
I'm just saying.
I guess every team has to have at least, well, there's 16 Monday night games.
Think about
17. Yeah.
How many people out there, honestly, can wake up in the morning and say, I hate Peyton Manning. He is an unfunny, mean-spirited son of a bitch.
How many people are fans of the AFC West that aren't Denver fans? There's probably a lot of people that hate him.
Well, but I'm just saying, overall, I mean, he's a nice guy.
Okay.
You've seen his commercials. If you're not laughing by the end of them, you're a heartless son of a bitch, and you should probably go hang yourself off the back porch.
So what's your favorite Peyton Manning commercial ever?
The fake one from Saturday Night Live. The United Way one.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. My favorite one, well, there's ones where he was like, he'll cheer people on at their job.
That was good.
Let's go, insurance adjusters, let's go.
Or the This is ESPN bit with him and Eli kicking each other in the hallway.
Carl! You're good too. No, my favorite one is was like keeping up with Peyton. Well, Peyton, like, he's like on the football field, he hands it off. He's asking him questions like, so you're an older man, you're in your 40s, and you have that beer belly, and you're thinking about losing weight. You should just not even try. You're never losing that. You just buy bigger shirts for yourself. Take that from Peyton. Thanks for coming.
The Sony ads with him and Justin Timberlake, probably some of the better ones. Those were good. Yeah, hated Justin Timberlake when he was in a boy band. I actually like him as a human being. Dude. He's a really nice guy.
Dude, he's in like Lonely Island, a lot of those. I love him in those.
He's a great guy. He's a funny, down-to-earth human being.
Since he dropped that. But anyway, Dalton, we're getting off topic here.
Finance.
Dalton, dude, the guy showed up. You gotta get. We shit on him whenever he does horrible. We gotta give him credit.
No, we don't shit on him. He's consistently terrible if he's playing at nighttime. Consistently terrible.
A nationally televised game in prime time. Dude, that's what it is.
Even the lights on, period. Blind the dude to where he can't play.
Dude, he destroyed. Well, it's not just him. It's also the whole team doesn't usually play well in that regard.
Yeah, but that defense.
Well, like last week they played the Browns, and they just shit all over the Browns. Now, you can say what you want about Denzel, but the defense on the Browns is very good, and they put 30 on that defense without blinking.
Well, Dalton came out there. He looked confident. He was running for extra yardage. It didn't look like the same scared dude that you always see every time the lights
go on. You want to know what I think it honest to goodness was? Hill is a much better running back than Giovanni Bernard. And that it's just so much easier when you're running
pop-off valve.
Yeah. Well, it's so much easier to be a quarterback whenever your running game works. That sucks on the defense. They have 8 in the box, and that gives your one-on-one matchups a lot easier without safety coverage. And your crossing routes are so much easier because the linebackers are sucking up first, and they got, oh crap, who am I guarding? Who am I going to cover? And then you get all these quick slants or whatever. It's just it helps them. It helps a quarterback when your running game works really well. Your play action really helps. Now we'll talk about Peyton, which I spelled it wrong, but I don't care. P-E-Y-T-O-N. But nay. I'm going to throw this out there. I don't think he agrees with me on this. Peyton has not looked good since his game against the Rams. Like before that, he was averaging 3 to 4 touchdowns a game, about 350 yards. He was sick last week. I'll give him that, but he did not look good.
He had the flu.
He had 4 interceptions last night.
Well,
did he have the flu last night?
I don't know. Maybe it's a 7-day thing.
I believe that he got rocked. He got rocked against the Rams, and it hasn't looked the same. He didn't look the same against Buffalo.
Well, luckily for him, they've clinched the division.
Well, they did, yeah. But I don't see them going far in the playoffs because I just think I don't think he's done. I think he's just a little rattled. I don't know. Maybe his body's in shock right now.
Because he's so old.
I don't think he's that old. It's just I can't explain it. Like maybe his body just was. I think he got hit one good time. His body's like, whoa, really? We're still doing this? He hasn't looked good the last few weeks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing him as a player. He's a great player, but he hasn't looked good the last few weeks. Let's see, Buffalo 173
yards.
He got 311 last night, but he threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah, but last night he was 28 for 44.
Can you look
two games before that were 14 for 20.
Can you look beyond that? They go all the way back from the Ram game? Because I know before the Ram game, that's what they were saying on the ESPN. He looked good before the Rams game. He hasn't looked good since. Is there anyone go further back?
Yeah.
Like all season.
Career game on game splits.
All right. By the way, this is brought to you by Rolling Rock and Voices Dave
and Jack Daniels and Miller Lite and
Mountain Dew.
Apple. They get mad when you do shit like that.
Apple?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. They're not very friendly at all. More.
You want me to look it up?
Would you like more? Yes.
I would. Okay.
There
we go. Whole season.
I think. Yeah, week 16. So, yeah, that's it. That's the entire season. Percentage, first game 61, second game 80, third game 63, bye week 66, 66, 84, 71, 59, 70, 63, 80, 50, 70, 70, 63.
Okay, no, I was looking at his yardage, but you just proved my point because he had 50, he had a couple 70. I'm just looking at his yardage and his production. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 4 touchdowns against Miami. What's Miami?
Well, but statistically, if you're just going to go by the yardage as your sample of how terrible Peyton Manning has been.
Kansas City and Buffalo, both
Kansas City. Yeah, but those were the 2 worst games. Those were his 2 absolute worst games as far as yardage goes. Other than that, he's been over 220.
I'm just looking at his overall. I wish I showed the QBR. Because his QBR was not good the last few weeks. It was like up in there like in 70, 80. But since the St. Louis game, his QBR every week has been around like a 40, which is not very good for an elite quarterback.
Well, his passer rating this past game was the worst of the entire season other than St. Louis, which is what the statement you made, which is 75.3.
I don't go by passer rating, but okay.
Well, that's the game you mentioned in our previous conversation was ever since St. Louis, he hasn't been the same man.
Yeah.
That was the game.
Now, granted, they have won 4. He just hasn't put up the numbers. That's all I'm saying is he hasn't put up the same numbers.
I'm just going back to the stats.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay. Anyway, good on Peyton Manning. We debated that a little bit. We argued. We'll move on.
That's not really so much as an argument as.
You're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah, usually.
Okay. Well, someone's cocky.
That's trending.
Yeah. Cowboys look good this week. I can't take it away from them. They put a thumping on Andrew Luck and his Colts.
That defense kept them guessing the entire game.
Yeah. Well, the game was over whenever that guy they faked a punt. Guy's wide open. Guy's named McDonald. Wide open. Throws it to him and it hits his hand and just drops. Wide. No one even around him. He didn't have a guy within 5 yards of him.
Game over.
That was a game.
Game over.
It was 14-0 at that point.
Game over.
Alien reference. Aliens reference.
Game over.
So and
yeah, looking at it now.
Cowboys, we were arguing about this earlier. I don't know if it was on camera or not, but
it's hard to tell.
Yeah, Tony Romo. I don't think he should win the MVP. Don't get me wrong, but I think he should at least be a candidate, and him and DeMarco Murray should both be candidates for.
They can be candidates at positions 3 and positions 4. I'm telling you, J.J. Watt. Well, everyone knows J.J. Watt and Aaron Rodgers are the top 2 picks. I really think it should be J.
I do think he should.
I think he is the guy. He should get it.
I can't think of the last time they picked a defensive player as MVP other than like Deion Sanders. No, Deion Sanders won it once.
Did he?
Yeah, because he had a lot of picks in
there. No one remembers.
When you completely take away half a field. Yeah.
No one remembers the 90s.
I vaguely remember them. It's my childhood. Cowboys, I give you shit, but you look good this year. I hope you lose in the playoffs. But you look good this year. Yeah, I heard that too. You got a gun going off.
No, it's bigger than a gun.
A bomb?
Probably a charge.
Anyway, Steelers clinch the playoffs this year. Well, this week. That team is so polarizing. Like, don't get their butts kicked against like.
You can't hate them.
You can hate them. They'll lose to the Jets, the Browns,
you can hate them,
the Saints, and then Tampa Bay. And then they go and then they beat the crap out of it. Just play down to the level of their competition. Really, that's the best way to describe it.
They really do. They play up and play down.
They just don't play to the best of their ability.
Well, they lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
did they?
Jacksonville.
Forgot about that. Did they?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
NFL.com, get your head out of your ass and make things easier to navigate. Now.
That's why I go ESPN. That's why I go ESPN.
Well, it's the National Football League's website.
I know.
Oh, do I gotta look at the schedule? Because there's nothing scheduled except for them to beat the Bengals next week. What is this? Press conferences? Yeah.
Did they lose to Jacksonville?
Well, they got crushed by Baltimore in week 2. Like, that wasn't even a game. Tampa Bay beat them 27-24.
New Orleans beat them.
Oh, they did beat Jacksonville. My bad.
Jets beat them. They barely beat Tennessee. God, they lost to some bad teams this year. But hey, you still made the playoffs. I can't hate you for it.
Yeah. At least in that division, you can be proud of going into the playoffs because you have a winning record.
Yeah. Well, the whole division's good.
Well, the division played well against each other this year. I mean, some of the best. Well, they kind of blew out Cincinnati by double, but I was trying to give that division a little bit more credit. But every time they played them,
they barely beat Kansas City. Kansas City had a passing.
That had nothing to do with their division.
I know. I'm just saying. I was talking about the game this week. All right, Detroit. You look good, Ben. You look good, Big Ben. I don't see them winning the Super Bowl though, but they definitely did good enough to make the playoffs. Played good when you had to.
How in the hell do you beat a team by 3 points at the first game of the season and then lose to them by 21 points?
You're talking about Cleveland, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In week 6.
Cleveland's another one of those teams. They did really good for a while. Like, they beat the Saints.
That is just fucking stupid.
So, no.
I don't like that.
It happens. Okay, Detroit backs into the playoffs nicely.
That's why they play the game.
They backed into the playoffs really nicely. Get down.
See, now you're having trouble too.
Can't even zoom in. That's bullshit.
You're not as blind as I am.
Can't even zoom in on this.
Enhance.
Okay. I was just trying to. Detroit back in the playoffs.
Enhance.
They look pretty good. I had a conversation with people I work with. Where would you rank Matt Stafford in quarterbacks? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are easy. Manning.
Top 15, but not top 10.
Thank you. God, thank you.
Top 15,
I put him between like 8 and 12.
He's too inconsistent. If he could come out there consistently and put up like 20, well, not even that.
How would you rank him?
Between 10 and 15.
How would you rank all the quarterbacks? I mean,
you want me to go through all 32 quarterbacks?
I would just do top 10.
Jeez.
Rodgers, Manning, Brady, Breeze, and I'll put Andrew Luck as number 5.
Luck goes above Breeze. This season.
I would just say in general. He has less.
If we're talking about,
he has less turnovers.
I'm not getting into this best ever bullshit. This season, Luck has been better than Breeze.
I was going off of it. That's open to interpretation too. How has it been better? Winning? Yes. He's won more games. He also has twice the interceptions that Drew Brees has.
You miss all of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You missed it last week.
Damn it.
I was going to tell you that later. You missed it last week. I think Brees is above him. The only issue I have with it is his team is not very good this year. Andrew Luck's team is a little better than Drew Brees' team.
The weight of the team,
you said it earlier, his defense is better.
The weight of the team is carried by the quarterback. Win or lose, it's always the quarterback's fault first.
Andrew Luck has a little bit of a better defense than Drew Brees, and that helps him a little bit.
That's fine. I'm just saying.
Okay, we'll disagree on that. 4 and 5 are in, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 are.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers. I go Rodgers, Brady, Peyton. That's the way I would do it this year. You're going off this year. Who was better, Brady or Peyton this year?
Brady was better after Gronk got settled back in after week 4.
Well, after they got their ass kicked by Kansas City. That's really where the benchmark.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like Peyton has been consistent pretty much out of the gate up until the last couple
now
of weeks.
He's dropping off, and Tom Brady's getting his feet under him. Okay, who would you put as number 6? I would put Philip Rivers at number 6.
I gotta give the kid credit for he cocky little bolo wearer. Something about
bolo tie.
Something about him rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it.
I would put him up. Honest to goodness, Romo would be my number 7.
Romo has.
Actually, I would put Romo at 6 and put Philip Rivers at number 7.
Tony Romo is not a bad guy. I just don't.
I don't like Dallas either, but you take your emotions out of it and just be objective. He looks good this year. It's all that.
He does look good. He does look good. But in saying that, it's not that he has gotten better. They've given him something to work with.
Well, I think
that has made him appear to be better. Now, I'm not saying he isn't healthier this season than he's been past couple seasons. That has something to do with it too. But he actually has everything a quarterback needs to win football games, including a defense. So he appears better. It's just like Troy Aikman when he was there. Troy Aikman was a mediocre quarterback with an outstanding offensive line, and that's why he looks so much better.
And who's there? Troy Aikman? No. Mike Warren.
I said Troy.
Mike Warren. And he also had, I wouldn't say he's one of the best running backs ever.
Emmitt Smith, didn't
he? Yeah. I don't think Emmitt Smith was. I'm going to quote Skip Bayless here. And Skip Bayless is a huge Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yes.
He said that he never liked Emmitt Smith as a great runner. He said Emmitt Smith was good at avoiding the money shot, at avoiding getting hit really hard. That's why he had such a
long career.
Such a good career. He never got injured. He get like the little nicks and bumps, but he would never get that serious injury that put him out for like 6 games or something.
No.
He was very good. And he did have the best offensive line probably in the history of football game.
There's nothing wrong with being smart about the position.
No, absolutely. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying that helped Troy Aikman. That's what I'm saying. So Romo I'd have as number 7 or 6. Philip Rivers number 6. Who would you put at number 8? See, that's why I'm
not putting Stafford.
I would put Stafford.
Really?
Because I think he's done better. He's done better than Matt Ryan this year.
Damn, Matty Ice. Man, he had such a
Who else
nickname too.
Who else would it be? I think Tannehill's number 10.
Tannehill's come on. He's put up some pretty decent numbers.
Well, we're on 8, right?
Stan hasn't done terrible.
I think he hasn't played consistently. He hasn't been out playing all year. That's all I'm saying. If anything, you think Carson Palmer. That team's.
Well, how do you leave Big Ben out of the top 10?
Oh damn! I forgot about Big Ben.
Like seriously.
Okay, I would actually take Matt Ryan off the list then.
And then
number
like
11.
Brian Hoyer.
I would pick Ryan.
Brian Hoyer up until about week 7.
I just thought another one. Okay, I'm sorry. Who's number 7? I said Philip Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Who did I say number 8 was?
No, you had Rivers at 6 and
no, I had
Romo at 7.
I switched that. Romo's 6. Rivers is 7.
7.
I'm sorry. 8 is Russell Wilson.
Roethlisberger.
You got Roethlisberger?
Yeah.
Okay, I got Roethlisberger at 9. Who you got at number 9?
I'll give you Russell Wilson.
And number 10?
Derek Carr.
No. Okay, we don't have Stafford on there. You have Stafford, Tannehill, Matt Ryan,
Derek Carr.
which I think the other teams.
I can't help it. I can't hate the dude.
I don't want to put Dalton in the top 10 though.
I can't hate the dude. Think about what Derek Carr has done with absolutely nothing. He has tried. He has tried and fought and clawed and
you can say the same thing
done
about Blake
everything
Bortles.
he can do.
You can say the same thing about Blake Bortles.
Yeah, but Blake Bortles at least has a defense that shows up every third week.
I would put Derek Carr in top 15. I wouldn't put him top 10.
Okay, well,
if I had to pick number 10, wow, we're missing Alex Smith in this too.
There's a lot of shit out there this season.
Considering Alex Smith won 9 games without any wide receivers.
Nick Foles until he got injured.
I wouldn't throw Nick Foles in. Last year, yeah, because he was like 29 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Oh, that because he had that one game. Yeah. And he was my quarterback. So that's the point.
I wouldn't throw Flacco in there. I don't think Flacco's that good.
No, Flacco can't do anything without anything around him. He can't.
Well, he can throw a long ball. He can throw the long ball.
Yeah, but he can't force his team to win. Like Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Ben Roethlisberger,
Rodgers,
that asshole, Aaron Rodgers, not him, Brady. Yeah, those guys can force a team to win. If there was no one out there on that field, they could will that team to win. All 5 of those guys could will a team to win if they wanted to.
I would put number 10 would be Rodgers, Brady, Peyton.
He's milking the clock.
I am. Rodgers, Brady.
And I have no idea why, because when we started this, he's like, we're going to keep the football talk to 20, 30 minutes.
No, I didn't.
You did. You did say it. He said it on camera. Go back and look at the second episode. Go back and look.
I don't care how long it is. I have nothing else to do today. I have somewhere to be at like 6, and it's 4. We're fine. Okay.
I have to take a shit.
Yeah, I don't need all the time in the world for that. Let's see. Rodgers, Brady, Peyton, Breeze, Luck, Romo, Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger. What I put as number 10? That
RG3.
No, I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put him top 20.
Jay Cutler.
No, I had it.
Kyle Orton.
No, not Kyle Orton.
Tannehill.
They haven't been bad this year. To be
Tannehill.
fair. It wasn't Tannehill. I had someone, a better quarterback. I think Smith should be number 10.
Alex Smith.
Yeah. Then you have
above Stanton.
Yes.
Oh.
Then rounding out the top 15, I would have Stafford, Ryan, Matt Ryan. Who else? Dalton.
Matty Ice.
Ryan Tannehill, and then one more.
Can we just throw Derek Carr in there? Can we not just
throw
Derek Carr in there?
I would put Teddy Bridgewater over him. Because Teddy Bridgewater's in a tougher division.
Oh
I got to troll you, bro. I'm trying to think of who else. God, I can't think of one more quarterback. It's just tripping that crazy. Tim Tadlow is motherfuckers in this one. Damn it. I just need one more quarterback.
Stop beating it today.
I'll put Flacco's 15. Flacco's 15.
Above Kaepernick?
Oh, yeah, he's way better than Kaepernick.
Oh, bullshit.
I would rather... Look at Kaepernick's numbers this year. They're horrible.
It's not my fault.
I'm just... your opinion, but I got my opinion.
I like him better than Flacco.
Okay, Seattle put a stomping on Arizona. Jesus God. Did they put a stomping on Arizona?
They had it coming.
Arizona?
Yeah.
They have to get that one crappy game out of the way so they can learn from it for the playoffs.
I honestly think those boys were getting a little too arrogant.
A little bit.
And I think this was that game to be like, all right, you ain't as good as you think you are. Get to practice it a little harder.
Yeah. I wonder if Bruce Arians planned that. He's a smart guy. He's calculated.
He might have needed to do that just to get their heads out of their asses.
Well,
I'd take a loss. If I thought my kids were getting a little too full of their own shit, I'd let them take a loss. I'd actually coach them down for a week. Be like, okay, now do you see why we do this?
Their quarterback, they had Lindemann. Whoever it was their 4th-string quarterback.
No, they didn't run the rookie. Arizona?
Yeah, they ran the Lindemann. Lindman's not the rookie. The rookie is Thomas. Something Thomas. Go ahead and look it up.
I'm working on it.
His name's like Lindemann or something.
Lindham or something.
Lindham, yeah. He's not a very good quarterback. Passing.
What? Am I in the right?
You're on the right team. Go stats. Right there. Left.
I don't want to get it left. I want to get it right.
To the left. Yeah, Lindemann.
Passing. Stanton, Palmer, Lindley, Thomas, and Teddy Ginn. I thought Thomas should have been playing the last 2 weeks, not just this week.
But this is what Bruce Arians said. He's like, if you want a rookie to be good, I think Thomas is a rookie. He's got a cannon for an arm, too.
No, Logan, this is his first year out of the league. This is first year in the league.
I know, it's his rookie.
He's a kid.
Yeah, Lindemann, he's been playing for a couple years.
Lindley.
He's been playing for a couple years. He played about 2 years ago. And Seattle put up, it was like a 50-something to nothing game.
Mm-hmm.
So Lindemann's been playing before, and they asked Bruce Arians, why aren't you starting the rookie who is the future of the franchise anyway, your future quarterback, apparently.
Yeah.
And he said, you don't do that to a rookie because you're just setting him up to fail, and you don't want rookies to fail anyway. You want them to ease them into it. I mean, you're going to want them to fail gradually. You don't put him in like that. What if the rookie starts a game and he loses 50-something, nothing like that? Look at Manziel. He got his butt kicked his first game. And he should have started the game before where he would have been at least competitive.
Yeah. Well, I think they should have put in Teddy Ginn because he has 100% completion.
Ted Ginn's a receiver.
But look at his pass. Attempts at completion. That's 100%. I don't even need to tell you. It's 1-to-1 for 10 yards.
It was 10 yards.
It's 100%.
He also got 0 touchdowns.
But he's also got the best completion percentage on the entire team. I'm just saying, statistics don't lie.
It's Ted Ginn.
Like his and her podcast, there's your numbers that you were talking about. That makes him better than everyone else. Just saying.
Okay. Last topic I wanted to talk about was Houston. That team, first off, I've got to give Bill O'Brien some credit. Bill O'Brien knows how to coach football. He's a good football coach. I'm pretty sure that team is 8-7 or 7-8 right now. I can't remember which.
Houston,
Texans. But he knows how to coach. That guy knows what he's doing. And if he gets a quarterback over the summer, whether it's in the draft or whether it's picking one up in free agency, Jay Cutler trades for it, whatever.
Don't get Cutler.
That would make the team better.
I had that discussion, but I don't know if I believe what I said or not. I could have been lying to
Texans. Right there. Middle of the screen.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, they're
8-7.
8-7. Okay, so they could be 9-7, which is much better than 2-14 last year. They started the season last year, 2 wins, and then they lost 14 straight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they came out looking hot last year, but.
You know who might help? Wouldn't be a great quarterback, but would help out the Arizona Cardinals right now?
Oh.
Matt Schaub. He wouldn't be bad. If Carson Palmer was healthy, they'd be fine. They're 6-0 with him starting this year. 6-0 or 5-0, one of those two.
Schaub?
He'd be better than Lindley.
What's Schaub going to play? One game and then he's going to get a broken pinky?
That's not Schaub's MO. Schaub's MO is just he runs the play come hell or high water. Like if he's supposed, like example, let's say they do like a naked bootleg to like a fullback leaking out of the backfield, he'll throw it come hell or high water. He won't just take a sack and got a guy in his face. So he had like 4 games last year. He had like 4 straight games with pick sixes. Seattle made him look really bad because they were up 28-0 at half, and Seattle came back and beat him like 42-28. It was bad, but that sums up my football talk. But I just want to give a shout out, and I do hope, honest to goodness, J.J. Watt wins MVP. He should definitely be Defensive Player of the Year. We can both agree on that.
Well,
that's going to happen. If that doesn't happen,
no one else even has no one's even else has come close.
No one. I think. Well, not only that, but he's like one of the only defenders that goes and plays offense and is really effective. He's better than some tight ends.
I don't see how they overcovered him on that, or how he got that ball on that second touchdown pass, because he was well covered. There was no slippage in that coverage. It was great.
You can't hate the guy. That guy plays hard. I like the guy's character more than anything. Like
he's a stand-up guy and he's friendly until he puts his helmet on and gets his face beat, and then he's an animal.
This is what they said in preseason when they were negotiating his contract, like 9 out of 10 guys, like most guys, like hold out, like they don't come to practice until they get paid and all this stuff. He was there hitting the weights, hitting everything. It was like, why did you not hold out? You probably got better money. Like if I hold out, that holds my team back. That holds all these rookies that I could be helping get better, and I could not be here helping my whole team get better. And I don't want that. That's a selfish player. I'm not a selfish player. I want the team to win. I want the team to do good. And how unselfish is he gets his money to play defense. He would gladly goes and plays tight end on offense just to give his team a better chance.
I don't know. I think he likes hitting people too much.
I do too, but
I think he really enjoys that.
Dude, his hands are like freaking frying pan hands, dude. He's got like Shaq hands. Just run outside with like frying pans and try smacking shit. That's what it feels like to be. He's got like tennis racket hands. Oh God, I want him to win it. He won't win it because they won't pick a defender. But it's either him or Rodgers going to win it.
Rodgers.
Maybe Brady.
No.
In fairness to Rodgers, Brady has a better defense. That's why I think Rodgers will have the edge. In his numbers, I think he's like 40 touchdowns, like 5 interceptions this year.
I don't like the Patriots.
I know you don't like the Patriots. Okay, in our top 10 this week, we didn't announce it last week. We thought of this literally like 10 minutes before we started. Top 10 superheroes. You can just list them. You can give a little bit of reasons why. It's up to you, buddy.
It's in my phone.
All right. While he's fiddling.
Notes.
You got it?
Yeah,
We'll go first.
Just in my notes. Under podcast 6, top 10. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Number 1 is Deadpool. It's fucking Deadpool, man. If you don't know, don't watch that Wolverine movie. Go read a book.
Wade Wilson.
Go read a book. Number 2, Captain America. Love Captain America. And I also love Iron Man, Tony Stark, and then of course Wolverine. Kind of a Marvel fan here, but that's alright. But Batman's in there. Batman's in there. Gotta admire the story.
What number is it?
He's in 6th. He's 5th. He's 5th.
Okay.
Green Arrow, the way he was written when Kevin Smith took over that for 13 books was just a beautiful character. I don't know, a lot of passion in there. Really felt for the guy and his relationship with the Spectre, who was the former Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. Really good stuff. Rocket Raccoon. You don't like a raccoon shooting shit all the time with an attitude problem? It's just good business.
Plus Bradley Cooper.
Well, but I mean, he was in the comic too.
No, Bradley Cooper. You called him Bradley Cooper that way.
Bradley Cooper. Ghost Rider.
Bradley Cooper.
Ghost Rider I love because of the story of redemption. Like, that's something you can read, and you're like, man, this dude's bad. Or he's good, but he sold his soul for the wrong reason. Like, a beautiful redemption story in there. And whether you watch the movie or actually go back and read the books, just don't watch the second movie. It didn't actually add to the whole thing at all. It kind of made it weird.
It makes sense.
It added to the redemption part of it, but it didn't really, like, flow. It's just kind of like the first movie was here and the second movie was, like, here. The Authority. If you've never ever read comic books, I implore you to go look up the series of books called The Authority. It's a gang of superheroes that have the weirdest moral sect I've ever seen in my life. 2 of them are homosexuals. 1 is based on a Batman character. Like, it's actually quite funny because it takes what everyone thinks a superhero should be and kind of turns it on its head and like makes you realize that these people probably aren't as good as we like to believe they are. So they're not like your boy in blue Superman types. They got a shady side. Love it. And the last one, Lady Death. Chaos Comics, you're not there anymore. Polito, Jensen, and Hughes, you did a fantastic job. Absolutely loved all your work. Loved it all. And I will carry it with me till the day I die. Sworn to the Black Boys.
Okay. Got some honorable mentions here. Raven, Storm, the Comedian, the Punisher. Punisher. I don't want to add the Punisher in. But... All right, maybe a list.
I think I went 11.
Number 10, I'm giving a shout out to Superman. He is a great superhero. He has a good moral standard. I don't think he's as good as Batman. I think Batman whooped his ass, but he has a great moral standing. Just like Batman, he's just not as obsessed with him as Batman. Batman thinks it's his lifelong duty. Superman sees that as it's his duty, but he should still have a life. Nightwing, number 9. It's a the kind of the sidekick turned superhero. I like him. Like his
I don't think he gets enough credit.
I think he's got a bravado. He's got a good bravado about him. I'm a big fan of the superheroes that aren't technically like superheroes, but they're just humans doing super things. I really like that. It's realistic in my opinion. I just really love it.
Batman, Iron Man, Green Arrow,
Nightwing.
Yeah, Nightwing.
Right. Deadpool to a degree. If you it took away all the hamburger face.
What? That's what makes it funny.
Number 8 was Cyclops. I liked him when I was a kid more than anyone else in the X-Men.
I hate that Boy Scout.
You hate him?
I hate him.
I don't like the guy who played him in the movies, but it just made him look like a douchebag in the movies. I didn't think he was a douchebag.
He was a douchebag in the comic books.
In the cartoon, he wasn't bad.
Unless you read the Age of Apocalypse storyline, then he wasn't a douchebag. He was a total fucking asshole.
Gambit was number 7. I've always liked Gambit. I liked who they had as Gambit in the X-Men Origin Story. No, X-Men Origin Story.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Now they got what's his name?
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be bad.
I gotta see how it pans out. I reserve judgment until I hear him do a Cajun accent.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's gonna play out. But
Remington LeBeau had a Cajun accent. Even in the comic books, he even wrote it so he had a Cajun accent, so you couldn't help but saying, "Oh."
I like the kinetic energy of throwing the card and it explodes. I love that part. I just love it. I always wanted to do that when I was a kid. I just throw cards around the house trying to make stuff explode. Number 6 is Captain America. Again, good moral standing, good high ground. I like that. Steven Rogers.
Did I mention I was in the Army?
He's in the Army. Number 5. It wasn't one of my favorites when I was a kid, but the movies, Hugh Jackman I think he's a complete package as an actor. He does everything. He sings, he dances, he does everything.
The Boy from Oz was a very well written musical.
He's a very, very good actor in my opinion. And not to mention he looks jacked as a Wolverine.
Yes.
No homo. But just jacked. I aspire to look like that.
Hugh Jackman's jacked as the
Yeah.
Wolverine. Okay.
Huge Jackman.
Huge jacked man.
That's from Mike's Museum, the new one. He run Lancelot has a tablet and he's looking for the Holy Grail, and he runs into a place called Camelot where there's a play being put on, and so he thinks it's actually Camelot. So I'm not really King Arthur. I'm Hugh Jackman. Oh sure, Mr. Huge Jackman. It's just really funny. He's like Hugh Jackman, and he does like the whole Wolverine thing. He's like, what are you trying to do? I'm like, I guess it looks a lot more intimidating when I have claws. Number 4, this guy turned me on to him, so he's pretty badass. Deadpool. Badass. If you have not watched that trailer, watch it.
Please watch it.
Watch it. The movie is going to be amazing. I cannot wait for Deadpool Day.
Yeah, Deadpool Day. Take your date on Valentine's Day 2016. It's going to be worth it.
Nice. Number 3, again, this is a new one. I'm just going with what's fresh in my mind that I like. Fresh in my mind. Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass, and a little shout out to Hit Girl. She would be on this as one of the best sidekicks. And to be fair, like I'm a Batman fan, I do not like Robin and he's a little douche. I would rather like Bucky Barnes is probably my best sidekick.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then I put Hit Girl. I keep Robin like on the list, but he wouldn't be number 1.
I don't know. I take Hit Girl, snarky little.
Oh yeah, Hit Girl's awesome.
Like we were at a Halloween party in Uniontown, and it was a family-oriented event, even though there was a keg outside. Whatever. It was Fayette County. So and if you're not from there, if you are from there, you know it is Fayette Nom. It's just an inside joke. It's fun. And here comes this mom and dad, not dressed up at all, and they have their girl head to toe purple, dressed up like Hit Girl. I mean, she's got guns, nunchucks, swords, throwing stars, knives everywhere. I'm just like, parenting, you're doing it right. Like, I should have taken a picture and memed that at the point because that was before we were memeing, but it was awesome.
She looks like she would be Deadpool's daughter.
I think she'd make a great sidekick for Deadpool.
Yeah, because she would just, he'd just be like a dick. Oh, little girl there having a little period, huh? You have a little period, you're gonna bleed, huh? Are you? And she'd be like, I'm gonna take his tampon out and stab you in the face with it. He's like, won't kill me. Go ahead, try. I want to see you try. And then you'd be like holding her head, like, come on, jam that tampon up my face. Come on. Yeah. Oh man,
that would pull out the sword.
That would be
cut
great.
His head off and it would roll off to the side.
And he'd be like, okay. Very funny. He'd be like trying to walk around getting it, and she'd just be kicking his head around. Oh, that would just be great to see them go banter.
There you go. Throw that scene in the movie. I'm sure.
Do it. Just
it's not going to cost that much to buy that character for 5 minutes of a film.
Yeah, just someone do that on YouTube because you know that'd be funny.
Yeah, put it together. Hit Girl and Deadpool. Boom.
Okay,
Alex Luthor. After seeing your last bit of work, have at it.
Yeah. Green Arrow. Like I said, it's fresh in my mind. I love the show Arrow. It's one of my favorite shows on TV.
It's well written and well portrayed.
Well, yeah, it's so good. And just Green Arrow, I like. He's like a watered down Batman, but it's still enough like Batman persona that I like it. Okay, the one they portrayed in, and I'm getting to it, is in Smallville. I've been told he looks like a douche, so I'm gonna compare the both. I'll come back here when I've seen them both and compare them. But got Green Arrow, or it's called Arrow, I guess. I like it. He lost all of his money. He's broke. Yet he's still like
has a job to do.
Still kicking ass, you know. And I like it. Not to mention, we're gonna get into this next podcast, the nerd part. There's some good things coming up for Arrow. So, number one, I think it's pretty obvious. Batman. I like Batman because he's a he's an average guy taken to the extremes of humanity. Mentally, physically, disciplined, his commitment. He's doing all those things to a degree that no other man can do. And he's just maxing out the human potential. And in doing so, he makes himself on the same level as like a Superman. As someone with the Green Lantern, all these guys, the Flash. He puts himself on those level with those guys and is toe to toe with all of them.
Being a billionaire, does that make you average anything though? I mean, throwing that out there. I mean, because granted, yes, wiry, small, little kid, growing up, figured it out, wanted to be what he became. That much of it I'll agree upon. But if you call him average, you can't call a billionaire average. Like an average billionaire makes us look like.
He's not like, okay, he wasn't like this superstar athlete at like 10.
Okay.
That's what I mean by average.
Okay.
He's not super tall. He's like 6'1".
Average build.
Average build. And he maxes out his mental potential, physical, his discipline, his commitment. That's like what every human should strive to be, the best human that they can possibly be. And I think he's done that. And in doing so, he hangs with every major superhero that you can possibly think of. He does get his ass kicked time to time.
Well, if he can't physically, he can mentally.
Yeah. Like, I've talked about this with you.
His love-hate relationship with Superman.
Well, no, his superpower is that he can mentally adapt to any situation. That's why, like, none of his villains, except for the Joker, find a way to best him more than once. Mm. He gets beat, he adapts to it, and he's like, okay, this is how he beat me. Boom, this is how I'm going to counter it now. And then he wins, unless the villain changes their tactic again, and then he has to change his again. But he can always adapt to a situation. Okay. There are normal people like Red Hood has beat his ass. Nightwing has beat his ass once in the comic books. Superman has beat him, but he's beat Superman a good 12 times at least.
Boy in Blue had it coming. He's a little cocky.
Mm-hmm. Bane beat him bad, and then I don't get too much into this, but he made a mechanical bat suit to beat Bane. Azrael did that, and then he had to beat the crap out of Azrael. Then he beat Bane with nothing other than just his intelligence and his fighting ability. Batman's so good.
The Nightfall storyline.
I have that. You ever want to borrow it and read it?
I need to read the whole thing. I only have the issue where Bruce comes back and says, "By the way, you're done."
I have the first book. If you want to read it,
all of Nightfall.
I have the first. Yeah.
Issue 1 of Nightfall doesn't help me. I need like the whole
arc. Okay. Well,
I'm just
yeah. But that is why Batman is the best to me. I've always liked him. So, and the portrayal of him in The Dark Knight Rises, the Dark Knight series, just God, so freaking amazing.
He wishes he was Christopher Nolan's life.
I really wish I was. You
completely nerded up the football cast.
I don't care.
Completely. I don't care. Dorkified
it. You get over it, okay? But that's it for us, and we're gonna have this stuff on again in the next podcast. So Take it easy. Happy holidays.
Later.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, which is